Okay, the topic for today is going to be forgiveness, viewed on our mind map here. Remember the three levels of mind: God mind, which is where we are, never left, completely unified. And then the dreaming mind here, everything below here is a dream. The dreaming mind has two parts to it. It has the thought that wants to be separate and have stories. And there's the part where we remember that we really belong up here. And this is the domain of the ego, and this is the domain of what we call the Holy Spirit, but they're both us. Um, so, over here in the wrong mind is an investment in saying, I exist, but it's not my fault. So, I have all of these grievances. My original grievance is I've made up the story that God cast me out, or I had to leave because he didn't make me special. So this is the whole idea of grievances. It always has to be someone else's fault. So we come down here and we're going to project out these bodies that we think we are. And now every body is looking around to see who's to blame, who is at fault. And it even starts with the baby's first cry, which is, wow, you did this to me. So you cast me out of the womb. I'm so unhappy. And no parent can ever be good enough because there's always going to be a buildup of grievances between parent and child, child and parent. So we carry these grievances with us everywhere we go. We gather them in moment by moment, year by year, decade by decade. We carry the grievances until each of us has a victim story that we develop about who did what to us and why our parents made us failures or made us feel insecure or unworthy because they didn't love us enough, and or they abused us or whatever. And we're convinced that those stories are the truth. We may even have some of it on videotape. You know, we have documentation that this really happened in the past. So most people, when they think about forgiveness, is they think, well, somebody really did something to me, and I need to forgive that person. In the pamphlet that goes with the Course in Miracles, the one about is it in prayer or is it in the psychopath? In one of those pamphlets, anyway, it talks about forgiveness to destroy, and that's what's happening here. If you say, "I forgive you," usually there's some sort of saying, you don't deserve my forgiveness, but I'm going to forgive you anyway because I'm such a holy, good person. So any forgiveness that seems to take place here really isn't, because you're still saying this really happened. You really did this to me, or you failed to do whatever for me. And we carry that story and we're absolutely certain of it. I say forgiveness is vertical because forgiveness happens up here. Only the dreamer can do the forgiveness. And the forgiveness is not what one body did to another body. The forgiveness is seeing, I made the whole thing up. I am responsible for all of the stories down here of abuse and neglect and hurts and unfair treatment and so forth. So that's why the Course says the miracle, which is the shift in perception, looks on devastation, what's going on down here, and reminds the mind that what it sees is false. Then I can let everybody off the hook. I let my little self off the hook. I let the other person's little self off the hook. These are just figures that are being projected from a mind that chose to be a body, chose to have grievances, and chose to see them down here. Now, right-mindedness, this is my little symbol for awareness for the right mind. And then gradually, as we practice the Course or any other right-minded teaching, we become less identified with ourselves as a person with a story and more identified and aligned with this right mind that remembers. So the Course says awareness of dreaming is the real function of God's teachers. So we're all becoming God's teachers. This is just this guy and that guy moved over here. That's all. They're not different people. There's only one of us, really. So I have another little chart here to look at special relationships. So this is a Venn diagram. And so over here, when we're in the ego, there's a separate person over here with needs. There's a separate person over here with needs. And what we're trying to get to is shared interests. So when we are in this alignment over here, that's when we realize that everybody we know has a shared interest. The shared interest is waking up and being free from the dream of somebody did something to me, somebody hurt me. So that's the basics of forgiveness.